Christmas songs. All right, so I'm just waiting for Zoom to like bring you all on. So nice to see you all. All right, how are you all doing? Look at my fun button collection. I have this like amazing buttons and I just put them on the windowsill. Who has like so many fun buttons? I just love them so much. Some of them are probably over 100 years old. I don't know. All right, so let's turn off the music. Hopefully you could hear it. Kind of gets you in the music spirit. So nice to see all of you. I wish I could see all your faces, but that is one of the beautiful things about a free training, a webinar. No one knows who you are. It's anonymous and you're just here for the ride. So let's get started. I actually brought up my heated blanket. It is cold out here, super cold, but I get all jazzed up at these free trainings. I'm wearing my fun Christmas shirt. I bring this out for the holidays. All right, so this training is for you, especially for you who think, I always gain weight on the holidays. I just feel so afraid. I feel so scared and I hate it. And I know I'm going to just be hating January and February. And then that cycle just happens over and over again. Okay. So even if you are someone who's like, I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on my weight, like I see some of my members in here, but I'm just feeling like there's that insecurity, no problem. And so, I mean, it still happens for me. I'll go into the grocery store and I'll think, oh, that looks amazing. And so working on having an idea of what you want and doing it are two different things. So what you really want is you want to enjoy the holidays. And I want to hear your feedback in here. This is very interactive. So you want to enjoy the holidays. You want to feel connected to your family. You want to feel joy. You want to be comfortable in your body. You want to put these clothes on and be like, look at me, I look good, right? You want to feel good in your body. You want to be able to dress yourself. You want to go in a store and buy what you like, right? You want to feel good. You don't want to feel like you're like just slumping around, and no matter what you do, like you want to have hope and you want to feel confident. Okay. You want to feel trusted, right? You want to go to those parties and be like, yeah, I'm not eating any of that stuff because I know I'm going to feel sick if I do. So I also want to feel peace and I want to feel calm. I want to feel rested. I want to feel organized. Like, what are the things that you want over the holidays? You can put that, you can put it in the Q&A. I think the chat for some reason is disabled. Yeah. Oh yeah. The reason I did that is because it can get distracting. Okay. So in the Q&A, put down, what do you want over the holidays? Okay. So I'll just put the little Q&A box. I'm the only one who can read it. So you don't have to feel like, you know how sometimes you think, oh, my question is dumb or my comment is dumb. People might judge me. No, you don't have to worry about that, because the Q&A, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that can see that. So you can write anything in there. Okay. You want to wear anything in your closet. Yes. And you also want to know like that these clothes in your closet are still going to fit you in January or in February, right? So that's what you want. Some of you want, I had a client just recently, she just did a huge clean out of her closet. She has had clothes in there for 20 years, 30 years, still have the price tags on them. Yeah, she had a habit of buying clothes that were too small. All right. And so, oh, another one is I just want to feel calm, ready to enjoy every day without stress. Yeah. I want to not have the stress. And and the thing is, you don't have to feel stressed to do things. How many of us have done that? And I'm going to talk a little bit about my procrastination class. How many of you have said, well, once I have that timeline on it, then I just like go for it. And I'm really good at the last minute. But we can be really good at last minute, but we don't like it. And we don't have to keep that up. Okay. So this is what you want. You want to wear those clothes in your closet. You want to feel calm. You don't want to have a lot of stress. But what do you do to get that? How many of you? Tell me. So you make lists. Sometimes you make lists to manage your lists. You do a bunch of stuff. You worry that you'll forget things. So then you make more lists, and then you just do a bunch of more stuff. And then you have this negative self-talk to keep yourself in check. You're like, well, I better just, like, you're so mean to yourself thinking that that is the best recipe. But really, when you're so mean to yourself, you're actually breaking trust with yourself. And so then you don't feel good about yourself, right? How many of you do this? You do a Pinterest search, or you go to the library, or you order some books online and you turn to the experts, or you subscribe to some expert that is going to tell you what to eat, when to eat, and when to eat it. You're like, I don't want to think about it. I just want to have that person just tell me what to do. Just buy that shake or whatever, and I'll take care of it. But how many of you have done that and you still gain the weight? Right. It's because you think that you need the expert. Really, you need you to become your own expert. And you look to past for evidence. You're like, oh, always failed in the past. And then you don't trust yourself. So you're not seeing that you are trustworthy, but that's a problem. You are trusted in so many other areas. So what makes weight loss different? Do you need to have a degree in nutrition? Do you need to have a personal trainer? No. We think that that's what we need, but really we just need to become our own expert. And I'm going to tell you today in today's webinar, it's really not that hard. So, by the way, I'm Dara Thomason, and I am the weight loss coach for quilters and for any other woman that resonates with what I'm saying. I am not just exclusive to quilters. But what I do is I help women create the kind of life and experience that they want to have, because I teach you to get to the root of the problem. And today's webinar is really focusing on why we always turn to the overeating, because there's only one reason why we're overweight. We simply put more fuel, because food is calories, right? And calories is just how much we burn energy by. And so we just are putting too much fuel in our bodies. Our bodies cannot use all of that fuel. And so now we have all this storage. So it stores in all different places. That's why we kind of have lumpy, bumpy bodies sometimes, right? Because we're storing fat. And so I'm helping you get to the root of why you keep putting more fuel in your body than your body needs. So we're walking around storage units, and I'm going to help you to use up the extra storage and how to create a life where you're not always turning to food to make yourself feel better or to hide or whatever's going on for you. And so this webinar is really focusing on how do we gain trust with ourselves that we don't gain 10, 5 pounds. Today I had a call with my group, and we always do a celebration at the beginning of every call. And so some of you might be familiar with my podcast, and I always celebrate my clients there. And my client, this is her second vacation that she's gone on since being part of the Love Yourself Thin community and learning this process. And she didn't gain any weight. And it's so exciting. She's like, this is amazing. It's a game changer. I didn't even think that was possible. And it wasn't that she deprived herself over her holidays, but she paid attention to her hunger, and she slept better, and she drank her water. It's very, very simple things. It's not that she was able to work out 3 hours a day. No, she didn't do any of that. Okay. So this is a different way of thinking. And I'm I'm really super happy that you're here, because it's showing me that you are resonating that in order to lose weight, we have to get to the root of the issue, and we can learn to trust ourselves. So so I just shared, like, we think we want experts to tell us what to do. We use negative self-talk, we use willpower, all those things. Like, why doesn't that work? So it doesn't work because diets, right? Some expert telling you what to do, those are short term. Like, I could tell you all, do you know how you can lose weight? You could eat applesauce every day for 2 weeks. You're going to lose weight. You could eat grapefruit. You could eat just carrots. You could eat just fill in the blank, some sort of protein, some sort of carb, some sort of fat for 2 weeks. And for sure, of course, you're going to lose weight. But are you going to want a life where all you eat is applesauce? Or all you eat is carrots and like cabbage soup or something? Is that the kind of life you want? So if you're losing weight in a way that's not going to be sustainable for you, it's not going to be in a way that you're going to keep up, there's no point in doing that. So that is why, I mean, keto, you could totally lose weight on keto. You can lose weight all sorts of ways. But and what I want to help you with today is the way that you lose weight is the way that you're going to keep weight off. And if you're interested in permanent weight loss, you've come to the right place. That is what I teach you. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm troubleshooting for you. I'm giving you ways of thinking. They're like, oh, that's what I do. Oh, no wonder I've been yo-yo dieting my whole life. Oh, that's so fascinating. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. So here, because so many of us, myself included, it's like, if I just get to that goal weight, I don't care how I get there. And by the way, that's a perfectionist trait. And we're going to talk about the class that I have, the master class in December on perfectionism, people pleasing, and procrastination. But perfectionists are like, I don't care how I got there, as long as I get there. Okay. And so, but that is a thought error, and that is a really big problem. And that's why we yo-yo diet. Okay. It's not sustainable. Experts don't know you. So why would I have some guy who, there's this one guy on YouTube, quite often it pops up in my thing. And he's totally shredded and all this stuff. How is he going to know me? I have a woman body. I've had, 5 babies. Like, what does he know about me? I'm 6 feet tall. And like, there's other people who are 5 feet, and then even like different other experts, like, how are they going to know you? And so, the problem then is you don't build trust with yourself. You don't build that trust of saying like, hey, I know what works best for my body. My body really doesn't like breakfast. My body really likes, whatever, like fish more than my body really doesn't like meat. My body likes my protein with beans, right? Like, you've got to figure that out for you, not some expert. Okay. Overeating, of course, is related. So we need to learn to build trust with yourself. Overeating is related to our feelings and buffering. So it's a way of hiding. It's a way of distracting ourselves. It's a way of coping. It's a way of rewarding ourselves. It's a way of like calming yourself, which is like, these are all not even real. Like, they don't work properly. So the problem is, because they don't work and you're like, I'm trying to calm myself down, I need these mashed potatoes to make me feel better. Then what's happening is you're trying to solve a problem, but it's not actually how the problem is solved. Could you imagine if like you have a really raw, like you have a dull rotary cutter and you're like, I guess I just need to press harder and maybe I need a different ruler. No, it's not the ruler's fault, and it's not the pressure fault. It's because there's a problem with the blade. The blade is dull. So you can try to do all these other things to try to fix it. But the real solution is getting a new blade or learning how to sharpen your current blade. But you can be messing around doing all these other things, but if you don't actually solve the dull blade problem, you're going to keep having the dull blade problem. Okay. Imagine if you have a broken arm and you go to the doctor and say, my arm is broken. And the doctor's like, I'm just going to give you what's wrong with you? You're like, oh, it's really, really hurts. He's like, oh, I'll just give you a bunch of, or she or he will give you a bunch of Tylenol. That's what we've been doing with weight loss. We like don't actually get to the root of the problem. So you're like, yeah, you don't feel pain, but you still have a broken arm. So I help women. We like set your arm, we fix your arm, and we teach you how to heal it. Okay. And so we teach you how to get to the root of the problem. All right. So problem is then we rebel against experts. We're like, oh, that person, they don't know what they're talking about. And so we've given them all the power. We gave them the power to solve the problem. And then we gave them the power when it didn't work. And now we are victims. And it's like, I'm powerless to weight loss. I'm powerless to living the life I want. I'm powerless to these relationships. And it's a really like scary place, right? Because if you don't feel like you have power, it's very scary. It's like chihuahuas. I don't know what your experience is, but my husband just got bit by a chihuahua this weekend. And they're just kind of scared animals a lot, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So we don't want to be like that. And then the other part why it doesn't work is because we never truly understand how weight loss science works and how to apply it. So it's like, I think I know that there's something out there, but I'm not empowered. I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to turn to an expert. But then of course, now we go to the experts telling us what to do, but the expert really doesn't know because they're not us. And then we're back into that feeling of unempowered. Okay. Now, imagine, I want you just to imagine this. You are really excited. You see this quilt and you have this beautiful fabric and you can't wait to use it. And you're like, okay, I got to get a sewing machine. Now imagine if you don't know how to thread a needle. So every time the thread breaks, every time you need to change a needle, you have to get somebody to come and help you change the thread. Because you don't know how to do that. And then imagine if you don't know how to wind a bobbin. So the bobbin runs out and you're like, oh no, now I have to go find somebody. I got to go find an expert to tell me how to do this. Darn it. And it's going to take a long time because maybe it was a Friday night and they're not available till Monday afternoon. And now you can't do any more sewing because you don't know how to fix the bobbin or wind a bobbin. What if you don't know how to change a needle? So your needle breaks and you're like, oh man, can't move on. Darn it. Okay. Imagine you're like, okay, how far would you get if that was you? Right? You wouldn't. And so the problem is you would never learn how to make anything because you don't have the skill set just for the basics. And what I want you to go away from today is feeling empowered with how weight loss science works. Because if you understand weight loss science, if you understand like what's really going on, then it doesn't matter if you go to a party and there's a bunch of food there. It doesn't matter if you walk into the grocery store and the baking section is wafting all its beautiful things. It doesn't matter if you are at a Christmas party and someone has made your favorite dessert, but you didn't plan for it. And you're like, no, I'm not going to eat this because I didn't plan for it. Doesn't matter because you have the skills. You actually have the knowing and the ability to change. Okay. And to take care of that. So I just really love this analogy because that is what happens when you say you think that you want an expert just to tell you what to do. You think that that's what you want, but it's not. Because then when things happen, like your needle breaks or your thread or bobbin, now you actually know how to wind it and you know how to fix the needle and you know how to do that. And that feels amazing. It feels so awesome. You're like, I am a great sewer. I can just use this sewing machine. I can do whatever I want. It's amazing, right? And how do you feel? You feel empowered. You feel trusted. You feel like you could like conquer the world. You're like, I could sew anything. I know how to do this. And if I don't, I can go to the instruction manual and I can figure it out, right? That's amazing. So that is what happens when women learn how weight loss science works. And when they learn how to manage their thinking and they know how to feel their feelings and they know how to create self-confidence, and they take responsibility for themselves. Okay. All right. So what we want to do for the holidays, this is I got you, is to create independence with food and with your body and with your brain. This is what you want. You want to be able to go to do anything, go anywhere, and not worry about putting on 10 pounds. Like going on a cruise. Oh my goodness. No, I'm just going to gain 10 pounds. If you want to gain 10 pounds, that's okay. But if you don't want to gain 10 pounds, that's where the problem is. Because if you don't have the skill set to go through it, like work, like to solve it, then you're in trouble, right? And you feel scared and you feel like a victim, and then food becomes the villain. All right. So I'm going to talk about 3 ways. I said the top 3 ways of not gaining weight this summer. I mean, this holiday. I have like so much snow in the back. I don't know where summer came from. Okay. Weight loss science. We're going to learn about that. We're going to learn about why you eat, and we're going to learn about how to become the executive director. All right. So let's go with the weight loss science. Yes, I did not. Okay. So the weight loss science, there are 3 hormones that we need to balance for weight loss. That's it. We need to balance our ghrelin, that tells us when we're full. And our leptin, that tells us when we are, our ghrelin tells us when we're hungry. Stomach, okay, ghrelin. And our leptin tells us when we're satisfied. And it's interesting, there was this lady sent me something or tagged me in a Facebook post, and it was like this Harvard scientist, she discovered this weight loss miracle drug. And you know what it was? When I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. It's a pill. Well, the pill was to increase your leptin in your body. Because if you have more leptin in your body, then you don't need as much food, apparently, to tell you when you are full. So you can have just a few bites, and then it sends this message to your body that you're actually not that hungry. Interesting, right? Or you can just learn how to do that for yourself. You just have to be like in tune with your body, right? It's just 3 hormones. And then the last one is our insulin. So I don't know if any of you who are watching this, if you have insulin resistance. So basic, a type 2 diabetes, maybe? Any of you in here? You don't have to say it. But the reason why you have that is because your body has so much insulin in it. And it's like a sponge. If your body has so much insulin, and the insulin train goes around and gives out insulin to everybody, and insulin is just your power, right? It's just your energy. I mean, I'm thinking like power, like turning the power on and off in your house. And so the insulin it goes around and says, hey, arms, do you need more power? Hey, liver, do you need more power? Hey, muscles, do you need more power? Like, do you need your, heart, all of that. And so it regulates that. So if you are eating a lot of flour and sugar and a lot of carbs and and the carbs are like carrots are carbs and celery is carbs and chocolate bars are carbs. Like carbs is like a wide spectrum. But if you're eating a lot of processed food and everything, it even amps it up so much more. And so if your body has so much insulin, it doesn't know what to do, it starts kind of like, it's so condensed, it doesn't feel it. And so the insulin train will come around and will be like, hey, do you need some more insulin? And they're like, yeah, I think we do. Because the problem is they can't tell how much insulin you already have, because it's like so condensed. That's why people with type 2 diabetes, they can sometimes become blind. They can get their toes amputated because they have so much extra insulin, and the body's just kind of overwhelmed with it. So that is the weight loss science. Now, there are factors like stress. So a stress is also a hormone, and it's kind of like, when you have like an oil spill anywhere, it kind of coats everything, like those poor birds that get coated. That's what stress does. So that cortisol that goes through your body, it can coat your insulin, it can coat the ghrelin and the leptin. And so now it's not as effective. So if you are having a lot of, I have this like heated blanket. It's really quite cold. So if you have, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So if you have a lot of stress in your life, the problem is it's not allowing your leptin and your ghrelin and your insulin to work properly. It's like a oil slick, right? It does affect how effective that's going to work in your life. So when you know that, then you can be informed. Now, one thing I want to mention is if weight loss seems really complicated, it's kind of like if you were talking to a money manager guy who wants to manage your income, like stocks and all of that kind of stuff. If that person is talking above your head and you don't understand what they're saying, I would say run away. If they're like trying to sound all fancy and complicated and it's got to be this and it's got to be that, I would just run away. I mean, and this is like, to be fair about weight loss, if you are wanting to build a lot of muscle, if that is like important to you, then someone who counts macros and micros, you probably want to hang out with them. They would be your person because they're like, okay, if you do this many burpees and this much weights and this and that, we need to do the muscle protein, then they are yours. They are for you. But I'm not interested in that. That is not anything. I don't want to be in a bikini contest. I don't want really to be that ripped and defined. It's really not that important to me. And so, I mean, and I still will, like, I'll go for a run, but I don't need like one of those like energy shots or whatever. Like, there's a lot of that sales out there. So I'm just saying that like, there's nothing wrong with counting calories and macros and micros and having a personal trainer if that is your goal. But my goal is to teach you, these are the 3 basic hormones for weight loss. And you can lose, like I'm at, 50 pounds. And I've kept this off for like 3 years, without having to do any of that stuff. And you can have a very nice body and you can have, that consistent weight loss, and you know how to get over a plateau and you'll be okay. So I think that that's really important to just talk about, because if you are wanting to do that, then go for it. No problem. But that is not, so when I say weight loss science is simple, I keep it simple and the results you get are pretty straightforward. Okay. All right. Next question. Next. So that's number 1 is weight loss science is simple. And I go into as much detail as you really need. Like it basically is teaching a 5th grade class, right? Because it really isn't that complicated. And when you make it super simple and practical and doable, then it's something you're going to do for the rest of your life. And it's not going to be a big deal. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about number 1? Weight loss science is simple, or just understanding that. So just as just so you know what to expect for the rest of the time. Sorry, I get really excited, so I don't like give the whole layout. So I'm going to do this training for probably another 15 minutes or so. And then I'm going to take questions and I'm going to tell you about how you can create your own permanent weight loss solution. When I talk about my program that I have, I also have one-on-one coaching as another option. And I have some free, no, not free. This is the free training. I have a $19 training happening in December, December 27th to the 29th it's going to be awesome. And there's a really awesome bonus. I just came up with this today, actually, with one of my clients, or not my clients, one of my staff. Actually, I had a staff meeting. So my staff, we all came up with this and I'm really excited. It's such a new announcement. You've got to stay till the end. You're going to be so happy. Okay. So that's the format. It should go till about 2:00 Pacific, but I can stay on for like a good 15 minutes afterwards if we have more questions or people want coaching. So that's the format for today. Sorry, I didn't say that right at the beginning. Okay. Number 2, why are you eating? So I want you to just take a minute. Why are you eating the food that you're eating? Why are you eating the licorice all sorts? Why are you eating the toffee? Why are you eating the Ferrero Rochers? Why are you eating that extra serving of Christmas pudding? Why are you eating the Christmas trifle? Why are you eating that? All that frosting. Why? Because you know that you don't want to gain a bunch of weight, because you know you want to be healthy. You know you don't want diabetes. You know you don't want to have like heart problems. You know you don't want to clog your arteries. Like, you know all of that. But why are you doing it? Where is that disconnect? And you know, when you wake up in the morning, you know you're not saying, hey, you know what would be a good idea? Let's get a backpack with 10 pounds and carry it around everywhere all the time. So why you eat what you eat? Why are you doing it? Okay. So I'm just gonna give that to you for just a minute. I'm gonna check my notes here. Oh, okay. All right. So why would you say? So just in the Q&A, again, it's very like interactive with, like, imagine like you and I are just sitting here. We're like, you're sitting here in my studio and we're having this conversation. Okay. All right. So how many of you answered, I'm eating this because I want to feel better, because I want to remember my mom, or I want to like honor my family traditions, or I want to, whatever that is. I want to enjoy the holidays. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with eating a Ferrero Rocher. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with eating like the Christmas pudding or whatever. But I'm questioning, why are we eating it so much? Why are we leaving the table feeling gross? Like we have to wear our elastic pants and then joking about it, right? Yeah. So mindless eating on the run. So why are we doing that? Like, why are we letting ourselves go down that road when we're really clever? Like, we can drive cars. We can like do all sorts of things. Okay. So, and habit. Yeah. And we think it's for comfort, but really, is it comfort? Because is that even being honest? Do we truly feel comfort? Like 5 seconds after we've eaten it, 10 seconds after we've eaten it, 4 hours after we've eaten it? Or do we feel kind of bloated? Do we feel kind of like, how many of you feel so gross after a big meal? Right? What about chasing a dream? Chasing an emotion. Like, how many of you have overeaten and you're like, well, if I just eat this chocolate, that'll like take the pressure off. It will make me feel better. No, it makes you feel better in the moment, right? So these are so good, you guys. Mindless eating on the run, habit, comfort. Yeah, so we've kind of tricked ourselves, haven't we? That's okay. The world has done a really good job with marketing. Kind of like, if your husband doesn't, or your spouse doesn't give you a diamond ring at Christmas, then I guess you didn't have a good Christmas. We don't see those ever. Well, I don't have TV, so I don't know. But growing up, it was like, man, you got to get a diamond ring for Christmas or else you are not loved, right? Like, we have all these messages. So I would just get curious with that one. All right. So the third one is executive director. So how many of you feel like, so I should ask this way. What are some things in your life that you feel like you've nailed, like you've gotten down really well? So I would say that probably all of you have felt like you've really got like driving. Like you can drive, you can talk, you can listen to music, you could chew gum, you could like you could have multiple conversations in the car when you're driving, right? So you've nailed driving. It's like so good. It's like automated in your mind. Probably a lot of you are really good executives and paying bills. I bet you most of you don't have a lot of credit card debt. You pay your bills on time. I mean, obviously you have power because you're here, right? And you pay the internet. So you're in good standing there. So you are a really good executive director for yourself. How many of you, would you say like your kitchen is like in pretty good shape? Like you don't have like a huge pile of dishes everywhere. Like you know how to run a kitchen. And probably your fridge, you probably don't have a lot of rotten food in your fridge. So like, you know how to like maintain a house. I mean, even the fact that you can finish a quilt or you can, that you buy Christmas presents, you actually like bought them, wrapped them and delivered them. Or even if you didn't, like you ordered them online, had them wrapped and mailed. That's being the executive director. So I gave a lot of kind of like just life examples of ways that you already are an executive director in your life. And so what I want to offer to you is when you embrace that you could be an executive director for yourself around food, that's going to be such a game changer. Again, on the coaching call this morning in our group, one of the members shared how the switch has been flicked on for her. And she's now feeling like, and I think she's at night, I think she's lost 19 pounds now. I can't remember if she had said 17 or 19. Anyways, it's really fun. And it's because she's finally believing that she can be the executive director of herself. She's finally believing that she doesn't have to turn to food for comfort, that she can plan food, but she doesn't have to have it all the time. And that she can buy her favorite treats and she can put them in the freezer and she can plan for them. And then when she eats them, she can enjoy them. And if the number goes up on the scale, she's not going to freak out about it. Okay. That's what we're talking about. All right. So you are the executive director of your life. And you are the executive director around food, which is really, really exciting. All right. So this is so why these three things work. Let me tell you. The first one is food solves food problems. And what are the needs for food for our body? Our bodies need energy. Our bodies need fuel. Our bodies also need vitamins like vitamin A, B, C, and D. Our bodies need zinc. Our bodies need, I don't even know all the things, like riboflavin. I don't even know what that is, right? But like we need these vitamins, right? That's why we take vitamins. Because there's like actual things we need calcium. Like our bodies need all of these things. And in order for our body to get them, we need to bring them. So when we're pregnant, we need folic acid, right? That's important to help build, because the body's like, we don't have enough folic acid for you and to make a baby. So you've got to give yourself more. So, and if you are anemic and so you're low in iron, they say, hey, we need more iron. So food literally is a way to keep this body charged. Like we charge our phones, right? We have to plug it in and recharge the battery because that's how the phone works, is through that battery. Our bodies need all of these vitamins and minerals and nutrients. Oh, it needs protein. It needs all of these things to work. And the way that we do that is by putting food in our mouth. And then our bodies are amazing. Our bodies have this like amazing knowledge of knowing like what to do. It knows how to digest. It knows how to extract stuff. It's like amazing. We don't even like realize what's happening. Okay. So that's what, so food solves food problems. It requires minerals, fats, carbs, and protein to work. That's why we eat. And so when people say to me, I accidentally ate a chocolate bar, I say, whoa, 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 whoa. You had to open the chocolate bar. So maybe you had to buy it, right? Like you had to get in a car and then you had to stand there. You had to go into a store. You had to stand in front of the aisle. You had to like select the chocolate bar. You had to pick it up. So you had to make all that decision about which one you want. You had to pick it up. Then you had to take it to a till and you had to give it to the lady or the man. And then they charged you. And then you actually paid money for it. And then you took it in a bag or your purse or whatever. And you took it back with you to your car. And you might have eaten it in your car, or you might have like brought it into your house. Like, do you see how many steps you had to do it? It had to take, and then you had to open the chocolate bar, then you had to open your mouth, and then you had to like bite it, and then you had to chew it. So how did that happen accidentally? No. You give permission to yourself to do what you're doing. Okay. Next, we have, the reason why this works is because guess what? We have a higher brain and we have a lower brain. And our lower brain, let's see if there's any other comments. By the way, I love all the comments. Keep them coming. So good. This is for you. I'm like preparing this for you. And I love that there's like women in my program that are here. I'm like, they get to like come to 3 coaching calls a week and they come to all my free trainings. It just makes me so happy. And so, oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Enabled closed captioning. Thank you. So going along with that. All right. So our higher brain, first I'm going to talk about the lower brain. The lower brain is there to tell us, like, keep us safe. So back in the day when we didn't have windows, right? And we didn't have doors and security, there was a lot of like danger out there, right? And so there was a lot of fear of like, if we're going to survive, right? And even I think about my ancestors who came across the American plains. And so every night they would put the, they actually had hand carts, or some of them had wagons, and they would put the wagons all around, or the hand carts, and then they would all be safe in there, and they had a watchman or a watch person. And so if you were like, if you weren't really accepted by the crowd, you would be the first one killed. So our lower brain is always making sure that we're safe. Okay. And so our lower brain wants us to stay safe, wants us to seek comfort, and it wants us to conserve energy. That's called the motivational triad. So the lower brain is always wanting to make sure that we're safe. But the problem is, we have a higher brain, and our higher brain says, I get it. I get that you want to conserve energy and you want to stay safe. So if you're trying to do something new, like, even like thinking about our thinking and going to a weight loss where you don't like depend on a shake or some person telling you exactly what to eat, when to eat. It's like, oh man, that means you have to take responsibility for what you eat and you have to start thinking about those things. You shouldn't probably do this. This sounds like it's going to be a lot of extra work, right? But our lower brain also said that when we were learning to drive. It's like, you could run into people, you could go to jail, but you're like, yeah, but the benefit of learning to drive is worth the potential problem. Just like the benefit of learning how to feel your feelings and how to embrace that. It means you have a lifetime of weight loss, like being permanently thin. So it's like, okay, it's kind of like labor, right? When you're having a baby, it's like, yeah, it was terrible. But in the moment you were like, this is the worst, but really you're just thinking a couple of hours for like this baby, who cares, right? It's the same thing. All right. Actually, today was funny. My kids, I was driving them to school and they were talking about something. And so I just started going into this analogy. I'm like, it's kind of like when, and then my son, my 16-year-old was like, Mom and her analogies. So I do like analogies because I feel like analogies help things stick. And in fact, that client I told you about who felt like the switch was turned on, do you want to know what the analogy was that helped her? I'm going to tell it to you. I said, when you got married, that the minute you got married, the minute you put that ring on their finger, you decided that you were going to be a different person. You decided you weren't going to flirt with other guys. You weren't, I'm talking about a girl here, guy. You decided you weren't going to go kiss other people. You decided you weren't going to like flirt or do that. I mean, that's my story that I'm sharing. So when she realized that, she thought, you know what? I'm going to take care of this body. I'm committed to her. I'm going to be kind to her, because when I do that, I'm going to live a life that's going to be a lot healthier, and I'm going to be able to wear those. She really wants to wear leggings with a oversized sweater and look awesome in it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Okay. So she can still plan for sugar. We can all still plan for sugar and flour, but it's not our go-to anymore. All right. So food has never, so no more fear or confusion. So when you know that your lower brain is doing a job and your higher brain, it's kind of like this is the factory workers and this is the executives in the factory, right? Any questions about that? So food has never created emotions and never will. You think that eating the mashed potatoes will make you feel better. You think that the chocolate will give you relief. You think that. But chocolate, it's only your thoughts about it that create some sort of relief. That's not even like long lasting, and it doesn't actually work. Other than you do get a dopamine hit when you eat sugar, and you do get a dopamine hit, just from that sugar rush. Okay. But it doesn't actually make you feel better. It doesn't give you relief. It doesn't give you comfort. It gives, and then it actually deteriorates the trust that you have in yourself. So that feels terrible. Okay. All right. The third one is, this is fun. You actually have power. You have always had power. You just haven't figured out how to use it. And just as a note about life coaching and weight loss coaching, basically it's a way for me to teach you tools so that you can see your thoughts and you can see what's going on. So it's me giving you your power back. That's what it's doing. I absolutely love having a coach. And I love the tools. I love doing my own self-coaching because there are a lot of thought errors that I've picked up. There's a lot of beliefs about myself that aren't even true. And so when I can debunk my own beliefs about myself, I have two sisters and they were both really, really thin, like really thin. And for a long, long time. And I was kind of the chubby one. And that's kind of the role I played. And I looked like my dad, and I had the chubby cheeks like my dad. And I had the more manly features. I was wider than they were. I'm 6 feet tall. And even though they're like 5'10" and 5'11", but I would literally like put my wrist, like the width of my wrist with theirs. And I proved to myself that I could never be as thin as them. And guess what? I am thinner than one of my sisters, which it just blows my mind. I never, ever imagined that I could be this size. So I want you to know that you actually do have your own solutions for yourself. You just don't know how to get them. And so a life coach doesn't tell you what to do. A life coach helps you find your solutions inside of you because you know yourself best. But you don't know yourself very well when you keep putting a bunch of food in your mouth and when you keep hiding behind food and you keep, like, I think of one of my clients, she's actually on the call right now. She loves frosting so much, absolutely loves frosting. And it's because her grandpa was a baker and that was her connection to him. And that was her story of like, when I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling this, when I'm feeling that, at least I have frosting. And our society perpetuates this, right? I mean, the chocolate, the everything, the goodies, like, it's like, and you deserve it. Okay. So thoughts are where emotions are created, not from food. And everything we do in life is because we want to feel a certain feeling. So we think, well, I eat the fancy chocolate, then I'll feel fancy and I'll feel good and I'll feel relief. It's not true. So really, this is like, I wanted this to be like a deputy badge. But what we really want is consciousness. And when we are conscious and we're in that executive brain, then we are powerful. We can access that power. And what I'm saying to you today is when you learn how to get that power for yourself through the tools that I teach, you're unstoppable. It's how I've created this body that I have. It's how I've created the business that I have. It's how I have this like marriage that I didn't even realize I could have. It's how I can live with the craziest, ugliest kitchen I've had for 5 years. And I can still like be happy. It's because all of my power, all of that is within me. It was never because I had a beautiful kitchen. It was never because I was this thin. Okay. Because I haven't been this thin since high school. Didn't even know it was possible. I'll get my jeans out of the dryer sometimes and I'll be like, these are my jeans. That's so fun. I didn't even know I could fit this size. Okay. All right. So these are the skills you're going to need. Oh my goodness. I'm going over. I'm so sorry, but that's okay. We'll have time. You apply weight loss science to food you like and your lifestyle. You're conscious of how your brain operates. You understand why your brain does what it does. You change the way you solve problems with certainty of where the problem came from, and you get to the root of the problems. And the reason, the results that are created is you feel confident around food and taking charge of your body. You are predictable about weight loss. You can predict it. Weight isn't scary or feel out of control. You feel conscious of your thoughts and you don't run away or hide from them. And you have ease in your body. Now, this is kind of just a recap. You think you want a pill to lose weight. You think you want a book to lose weight. You think you want someone to tell you what to do to lose weight, but that doesn't work because you feel awful about yourself. You're like, look at me. I'm not smart enough. Yep. See, I'm not to be trusted. You then become rebellious because who wants to be told what to eat and do all the time? And then you go into apathy of like, oh, I'll forget it. I guess I just will never be thin. I'll just never be healthy. I'll just never know how to eat properly. This is just my lot in life. And then you keep using food to solve the problem, right? You never break free from that vicious food cycle. And what I'm offering to you is the get freedom pass. Okay. And so I have 2 offers for you today. The first offer, okay, so that's the end of our training. The first offer is my permanent weight loss for people pleasers, procrastinators, and perfectionists. So I call it the triple P, and it's one of the modules we do in our Love Yourself Thin program. And it's going to be December 27th, 28th, and 29th. It's $19, and you get the Perfection Recovery program with that. You get the digital download. If you want the paper version, you can just order it. It's $30 and it'll be mailed to you. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. But the reason I'm doing this, and you're like, I thought she was a weight loss coach. The problem is, remember what I was saying? We got to get to the root of the problem. We got to go inside of our brain and figure it out, because you have all your own power. You just don't know how to access it. Well, people pleasing, saying yes when you want to say no, breaks trust with yourself. When you procrastinate something and you wait and you wait and you wait and you're like, I don't know if it's going to work, and you worry and you do this and that, you get out of your power. When you are perfectionist, all or nothing thinking, And doesn't matter how I get the result, I just need to get the result, and you get out of your power. So these 3 things help you claim your power back. It's amazing. I loved, so I have a procrastination class and I have a perfectionist class, and I've always been wanting to do the people pleaser class. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do like a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We're just going to go for it. And it's going to be in between that Christmas and New Year's, because I know you're going to be wanting to do your New Year's resolutions, which you probably like, why do I even bother doing them? Because I'm not going to do them, because you don't have the tools to trust yourself. It's like such a bad cycle, right? It's the same thing. So as a life coach and as a weight loss coach, I help you with tools to manage your brain. So learn how to overcome stumbling blocks, all or nothing thinking, good student syndrome, fail ahead of time. You never start, right? You fail ahead of time. Oh, so I just said UFOs piled up and you're exhausting yourself. You don't trust yourself. It feels terrible. So we're going to stop all that. Or we're just going to start to stop all that. We're going to give you awareness. Okay. Because this is the deal. This is how permanent weight loss happens. You learn weight loss science is simple. You actually learn it, and you like learn it in your inside of you. You could tell anybody. You could tell a 5th grader and they would understand, because you have broken it down to such a simple concept. Okay. Then you get to make your own eating plan. You're a grown woman. You don't need to measure food and tell me what you're eating and da 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 da. Okay. I'm going to teach you, hey, let's try this one thing, or you try this. Tell me how it works. I'm going to teach you a process of like figuring it all out. And then you can start troubleshooting your own. Then you learn the brain-body connection. So remember what I said about your feelings, your thoughts create your feelings, not chocolate. Chocolate doesn't create your feelings. Spending money doesn't create feelings, right? It's like all your thoughts. So I'm going to teach you how to embrace all of, like, allow yourself to feel the feelings. And I have a really fun tool with that. Also, I teach you how to take responsibility for yourself. So you no longer are blaming yourself. Like, I'm so bad. Blaming yourself is called shame. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. What's wrong with me? I'll never be good enough. And living that way, you're not going to have the success you're going to want, because you're just like, well, I'm always deficient. I'm never good enough and I'll never figure it out. And so you just turn to the chocolate or people pleasing or the procrastination as a default, and it doesn't bring you joy. It's again, that really bad cycle. Also, you can fall into the trap of blaming. Like, if I had a better mom, if I had a better this, if I grew up on that side of the tracks, or if I had a teacher that inspired me, or if I had someone who believed in me, then I would have, right? We got to stop that, because if you don't stop that, you're still going to live as a victim. Okay. And then the 5th thing I teach is to build self-confidence. So this is what you get. So the very special offer, and I'm so glad you stayed on the end, is I have a payment plan. So it's $2,000 for my program, and it's a pay one time and you're in for life. It's so exciting. And so today I'm offering, if you would like a 4 payment. So if you pay over 4 payments, it's $550. So you just pay, like, you essentially are paying $2,200 for that one. Or if you want to pay over 8 payments, it would be $275, I believe. So it'd be $2,400 if you want to do the 8 payment. But I've never offered that before, so that's exciting. So if you would like to take advantage of that, all you need to do is just let me know, and we can have I can send you that link to pay that. If you'd like to come on a one-on-one call with me, I have some spots open as well. So that is what you get. And basically how it looks is you get all the modules and the worksheets and everything. You have that whole system. Now, I thought, how do I help women to really internalize this and to implement these? because you get a portal and you go on the website. Actually, I'll do that. I'll show you it in just a moment. So I thought, what can help them? And I came up with, and so we've been doing this for over a year. So you get 3 live coaching calls a week over Zoom, and you get coached. You can raise your hand and say, I've got this problem. I'm really struggling with this, and I will help you. You can watch other people getting coached, which is super helpful. And then you can see that you are not alone and that you're not broken, right? You can see like the parallels in so many other people's lives. Now that's an amazing support. So incredible. 3 days a week, every week. It's just so awesome. Then I thought, well, how can I help them some more? I'm like, well, you know what? If we had a private Facebook group, they could be in there, they could be interacting, they could be supporting each other. So some of my clients will say, hey, I'm really struggling with only eating when I'm hungry. I'm still finding that I'm eating, like it's noon, I got to eat. It's breakfast, I got to eat. And they're like, I don't want to do that. So then they can have that peer support. It's also a place where you can say, hey, I want coaching on this, and I can pop in there and I can give that. And so other people can read it and they can really benefit from that. And so you can get support and you can encourage other people. Another one, because I thought, how else can I help you? And it is, if you're not here or here yet, to be like, I don't really want to ask. It feels really like just too vulnerable for me. I'm just not ready for that. Then I have this feature called Ask a Coach. And in Ask a Coach, you can ask any question anonymously. You can, and then there's a whole bunch of other people who have asked questions, and then they have all of their answers that either myself or my coaches have answered. Okay. And so you can get that personal feedback and you don't have to put yourself out there. It feels less vulnerable, especially when you're starting out. It's a big deal, right? It is a really big deal. Another one that I've done, another way to help those who, and you can feel confident in how you're spending your money, because it is an investment for sure, is the private portal. So I'm actually just going to put that on right now. I'm just going to get it going. I'll just show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. Share screen. All right. So here is my website. Here we go. I'm going to share it with you. Okay. So here's my website. Oh, these are the fun classes. Did you guys see these? They're still open. I have a free motion quilting class I'm doing soon. It's going to be really fun. So here's the perfection recovery class. Anyways, and then I have these 5 binge-worthy classes. All right. So let me get out of that for a minute. And here we go. So program login. So you log in here. And this is what I call the portal. Sounds so fancy, doesn't it? So we've got the portal here. And so as you can see, there's an introduction. So what I love is as soon as you sign up, you get these 6 mindset videos here. And these are short and they really help you with that. And so here's like a little description of each one of those. And then so you kind of can keep track on this side. So here are the 12 modules. Now with that, so here's the module 1. And so you have to watch the one module and do the worksheets before you go to the next one, just because I don't want to overwhelm you. And so here's the lesson. And then here are the worksheets. Okay. So they are digitally, like you can print them off or you can actually, oh yeah, there we go. You can type stuff in there. So you can keep track of it there. And then I have the resources listed here. So once you go through that, and then, yeah, so those are the modules and you have access to all of them. And in fact, you have the personal progress tracker. So here, this keeps track of like what modules you have watched. And I have clients that have members that have watched over and over and over, like they just love them so much. And the thing is, your brain is always evolving. So even if you've watched, I don't know if this ever happened to you, like even with education, you with how you take that in, it's so different because you're like, oh, now I know what she's talking about, right? So you keep track of that. You can also track your weight loss in here, which is handy. Some people love it, other people, whatever. Like it's just an option to you. All of the call replays are here. So this is all the classes that we've had. And then we have a bunch of these classes that I've taught. They're like kind of more of a deep dive into things. And then we're also just in the process of putting on our master classes. So all the classes that I've done, they're there. And then of course, yeah. So that is, who has any questions about the portal? Now, I have a really special bonus and I'm honoring this one for you. So I have created a 90-day workbook and we're starting it fresh, January 9th. And, but I will send the workbook to you for free to your mailbox. And it basically, the 90-day workbook takes those 5 pillars that I talked about. Weight loss science is simple, create your own protocol and troubleshoot it. Have the brain body connection, learn how to take responsibility for yourself and build self-confidence. So I've taken those 5 pillars and I've created a 30-day cycle. So I teach just little pieces of that in 30 days. And then the next 30 days, I go a little bit higher on the previous day 1, the previous day 2, the previous day 3. And then I do it one more time, 90 days. So and then again, I just take it a little bit higher. And we are just in we're going to be finishing this December 31st. It's very exciting. And so I can't wait for you to order this, to go. I'd love to mail it to you. It's my Christmas present to you. And you can start really embracing that process. Like I like to say, enough drips of water will fill up a tub, fill up a bucket, fill up, long enough, it'll all start petering in. It'll all work. So here, what happens when you learn and apply Love Yourself Thin? Well, guess what? When you get dressed in the morning, it's not going to be so painful. Walking in a room and not feeling judged, that's what starts happening. You go out for dinner, and in fact, you don't even have to have lost weight for any of these things to happen because you're changing the way you think about yourself. It's a beautiful thing. Walk into a room and not feel judged, go out for dinner and enjoy yourself. You're not stressing out about comparing yourself to others. You get to play with your kids and grandkids how you want, right? Because you're starting to lose that weight. You buy a quilt kit, and you know you're going to finish it. It's very exciting. Or you know that you aren't going to beat yourself up if you don't finish it or any of that. Okay. You're not going to be afraid of food. You're going to be able to go to parties and you're going to be able to stand there with all of these goodies and you're going to be able to say, no, thank you. Yes. I should put on here, no people pleasing. People will ask you to do things and you'll actually say no, and you won't feel guilty. Isn't that fun? You're going to honor your own word to yourself. You're going to go grocery shopping. It's going to be a lot simpler. You're just going to know what foods work for you and what they don't. And you're not going to feel guilty sewing and taking time for yourself. You're not going to justify that anymore. And you're going to say what you want without guilt. So those are just some of the things that happen, the life changes that happen when women learn these tools, when they learn how to get their power back. Okay. So how are you all feeling? I love that you're here. I love that I can make this offer to you. So if this sounds like something that you want to start doing, then any questions? So for those women who are on this call that are in my program, I see quite a few of you. What would you say? You just put it in the Q&A. What do you say is your favorite thing about being in Love Yourself then? I'm just going to turn up the heat here. What are your favorite things? Well, I know for sure. Yeah, I know I don't have to worry about putting the weight back on. I can live my life without being worried about what other people think. So those are just some of the comments. What other things? One of the questions I love to ask women when we're talking, and for those of you who are interested, we can always like meet one-on-one. I have time on my calendar. I know I got a note from one of you, but I have the 4 coaching spots so I already have one. I will message her back. She's on this call right now and we can organize a time. But one of the questions that I have is, do you believe it's possible to live a life where food doesn't have to like rule you? Oh, so here's some more comments. So no judgment, travel at my own pace. Yeah, absolutely. So when you have the lifetime membership, you're not worrying about getting in all the information, getting it right, taking advantage of the coach, like getting all of that. Like there's not that sense of urgency that can happen with a time crunch. And everything that I do in my marketing, everything I do and like how I've structured my program is all about taking that pressure off. And I know like even a lot of masterminds and things, they say like, putting on time pressures. My time pressure to you is, if you want me to send you the book for free, I will do that. And if you want to get the payment plan option, just come and talk to me. Because we have put so much pressure on ourselves to lose weight, and it just feels like it's a really negative kind of relationship. And I want to take all that pressure off. So that is why it's a lifetime membership. Another one of my members, she says, it has helped me understand my brain better. Yeah. So, the support. Another member says she loves the support that's in there. So this is the thing about our brains. I remember just hearing so many times where they would say things like, we don't even use a 1/10 of our brain capacity. Well, I feel just like my client that made that comment, I feel the same way. I feel like now that I actually know how our brain works, I have been able to accomplish so many things because I know when the lower brain is saying, hey, Dara, this is dangerous. I know how to talk to the lower brain. I'm like, I understand that, but we're going to do this now. And I understand when the higher brain is working, and I can actually use my higher brain. For example, our higher brain always wants to solve problems for us. And so if we can give our brain something to work on, so when we're sleeping, when we're having a shower, when we are like in more of a relaxed state, we'll get an idea, or we'll remember that thing, that person's name or that place or whatever. Or remember like how to do the binding that way, that you like had someone showed you that really cool way of doing binding, and then you forget. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. Because our higher brain is like, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. Okay. So even if you, and it was interesting. This lady messaged me on Instagram today and she goes, oh, I love listening to your podcast, and I love listening to your stories. You just have such a soothing, calm voice. And I just feel really assured when I'm around you. And I haven't had time to respond to her yet. But what I would offer to her is, the reason that my voice is calm and assuring, it's because it's not my voice. It's what I'm teaching you. Is your brain is saying, oh, thank you. This is going to be the way to untrap myself. And so people who join, you don't have to have actual physical weight to join my program. There are some women that really don't have that much weight to lose physically, but their mental weight is so debilitating. So I would also offer that to you. And if you would be surprised at our coaching calls. And if there's some of you who want to try out a call, we have one not tomorrow, Wednesday. And you guys, you can test it out, or I can send you a copy of a call. But yeah, what we're really doing is we are learning how to have mental and physical health. All right. Are there any other comments or questions? I love that you're all here. You're still here. You're so interested. It's so fun to see names and I don't even know you. I can't wait to meet you. So for those of you who want to take advantage of the payment plan, who want to take advantage of Loving Yourself Thin, who want, and this is the thing, you guys, and this, and I just say it how it is. You can join me or not. There's lots of weight loss people out there, for sure there are. But if you want to learn to love yourself, if you want to start treating yourself like you would your grandkid or your friend or someone who you admire, and you aren't doing that, it doesn't matter who you work with. It doesn't matter how much weight loss knowledge, doesn't matter how many charts or how many shopping lists, that won't matter. Because the truth is, you will never learn to put yourself first. You will never learn to prioritize yourself. You will never learn to speak to yourself in a way that's going to be healthy or helpful. And you're just going to keep going down all these spirals. It's like you just keep putting out all the fires and you never truly find rest. You never truly find calm or happiness inside of you. And that's what I have to offer. And so although I don't sell with urgency of like, well, the doors are going to close and you better join now, or I don't sell with that, but this is what I do sell with. And I have so many clients that have said, I wish I would have just taken advantage of you, like taken advantage of your offer earlier. I wish I would have joined earlier, because they lived so long with feeling frustrated and discouraged and upset. So the urgency is, do you want this in your life? And if you haven't gotten this, I'm teaching you tools to create this. So, and I'm telling you, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to have, oh, your chat is disabled. Well, I can, oh, it's, yeah, do the Q&A, Joan. No fear with, another comment from one of my members. She says, no fear within the group of sharing, and the support you get from the other ladies is wonderful. I love that. And then what is the time period for the 275? Okay, I wrote that down. 275 for 8 months. Yeah. But if you just want to stay on, I'm going to just close up. But if you just stay on, I'm just going to, all right. So I'm going to go. And then Joan, if you just want to stay on here right now, we can just do that. I have time for you. Are there any other questions? All right. Take care, everyone.